Hello everyone, welcome to Miss Doc T. This is Dr. Farhi, General Medicine resident. And today let's discuss about a very commonly neglected part of general condition on examination, and that is clubbing. Okay, so starting from the definition of clubbing. Clubbing is defined as the bulbous enlargement of distal part of fingers as well as toes because of fibrovascular proliferation. Now, what is this fibrovascular proliferation? So here there is an increased blood supply to the distal part of fingers and toes. Containing this blood contains growth factors. These growth factors will lead to increased connective tissue formation, leading to clubbing. So this is the picture of clubbing. Now there are three methods for estimating clubbing. So first is the interphalangeal depth ratio, which is an outdated method. The second is the hyponychial angle, and the third one is the very familiar one, that is the Shamroth sign. Okay, so interphalangeal depth ratio. So what is this? Normally here A and B, two lines. The first line is taken at the level of the distal interphalangeal joint, and B, the second line, is taken at the level of the cuticle. So the thickness is measured. Normally the thickness at the cuticle is lesser than that of the interphalangeal joint, but if you see in clubbing, because of tissue deposition, the thickness at the level of cuticle will be more. So this is A at the level of interphalangeal joint, and this is B at the level of cuticle. The thickness at the cuticle is more, so B by A more than 1 indicates there is clubbing, and less than 1 is normal. Okay, so this is interphalangeal depth ratio. Second one is the hyponychial angle. So this is the angle between, see, this is the cuticle, the junction of the nail and the nail bed. So a line is drawn from the distal part of the finger to the cuticle, and another from the hyponychium to the cuticle. Hyponychium is below the fingertip, the nail tip, and the angle between them is measured. So if it is less than 180, some say 160 to 180, it is normal. And if the same, when there is clubbing, what happens? The angle between this nail and nail bed will be more. So here, if it is more than 190, then it is significant clubbing. So this is a very important angle to look for. And next one is the Shamroth sign. When the distal part of the fingers are approximated, normally a diamond shaped gap should be present, but in clubbing, because of tissue deposition, that gap is obliterated. So this is Shamroth sign. Now these are the three methods of clubbing, of which this interphalangeal depth ratio is like, it is almost outdated, not used. The hyponychial angle is the best of all these to correctly differentiate a normal finger from a clubbed finger. Okay, so this is important to remember. And the Shamroth sign is the easiest method to do practically, because to measure the angle is difficult, but to just look at the sign is easy. Now coming to the pathogenesis of clubbing. So pathogenesis of clubbing is still very unclear, and it's a bit confusing also, and there are many hypotheses that have been estimated, but even till date it is very unclear. But coming to the most commonly accepted hypothesis, there are three. The first one is megakaryocytes involvement, the second one is growth factors, and the third one is prostaglandin E2 involvement. So we'll look at each one of them. How are megakaryocytes responsible for clubbing? So from the bone marrow, the megakaryocytes are released into the venous circulation. Okay, now through the venous blood, as usual, the blood should return to the right side of the heart, and then from here it reaches to the lungs, where at the pulmonary capillaries it is getting oxygenated, and this blood through the left ventricle reaches the body. This is normal. The megakaryocytes, through the veins, they will reach the right heart, and then when they reach the level of pulmonary capillaries, they are broken down to form platelets. Okay, so these platelets are then circulated throughout the body as they are pumped through the left side of the heart. This is the normal thing that happens. But now, whenever there is any abnormality that is leading to direct megakaryocytes reaching the body, then it leads to clubbing. So first condition is when there is any right to left shunt. Megakaryocytes directly reach from the right side of the heart to the body. And second one is when there is some pulmonary capillary damage, there is no breakdown of megakaryocytes, so they are reaching the body. So these conditions include lung abscess, empyema, cystic fibrosis, tuberculosis, sarcoidosis, and they are also seen in malignancies like lung carcinomas, mesotheliomas. What's happening? They are directly reaching the body. They are not broken down into platelets, but they reach the body. So they when they reach the distal capillaries, There they will produce the platelet derived growth factor. This is responsible for excess connective tissue deposition at the distal part of the fingers and toes, thereby leading to clubbing. So this is the mechanism how these megakaryocytes cause clubbing. Next, coming to the second mechanism is that there is involvement of growth factors. Now growth factors are many, and some of them are hepatocytic growth factor, fibroblastic growth factor, vascular endothelial growth factors, platelet derived growth factors and all. Hepatocytic growth factor is responsible for clubbing seen in hepatocellular carcinoma. Similarly, the fibroblastic growth factor causes clubbing in cirrhosis. Now coming to inflammatory bowel disease, here also clubbing is seen, especially in Crohn's more than ulcerative colitis. Many hypotheses are there, but some say that there is increased amount of platelet production and activation, so there is increased platelet derived growth factor causing clubbing. The third one is involvement of prostaglandin E2. So this is seen in hereditary clubbing. So in hereditary clubbing, it has been noticed that there is decreased breakdown of prostaglandin E2. So prostaglandin levels are increased, and by unknown mechanism they are causing clubbing. So this is the pathogenesis of clubbing. Now coming to grades of clubbing, which is a very important viva question. So the first grade, there are 4 grades totally. The first grade is there is excess soft tissue deposition, thereby there is softening at the periungual lesion, and this will lead to positive fluctuation test. So this is the picture of fluctuation test. Grade 2 is when the angle is increased to more than 180 degrees, and grade 3, some say 160 degrees also. Grade 3 is when there is increased convexity of the nail. So this is otherwise known as the parrot beak appearance. So the nail, because of increased convexity, it looks like the beak of a parrot. Next, the 4th grade is associated with hypertrophic osteoarthropathy. Now what is this hypertrophic osteoarthropathy? So it is a condition which occurs when there are some intrathoracic malignancies. So these intrathoracic malignancies like bronchial carcinomas, mesotheliomas, pleural fibromas, many other, etc., they will increase the periosteal bone deposition. So there is a new bone formation, that too in the distal part of long bones. So they will involve the fingers and toes. So you can see in the X-ray there is excess periosteal deposition. This will lead to clubbing, and this is a painful condition. So this is grade 4. Next, coming to what is unilateral clubbing. This is again very important viva question, a little higher range but still. So in unilateral clubbing, it is important to remember P-selectin. P-selectin is present in the distal capillaries of fingers and tips, and it is a surface marker which is increased during endothelial damage, and it will cause platelet aggregation and increase platelet derived growth factor causing clubbing. So when there is anything that causes endothelial damage, that will increase P-selectin and cause clubbing. Causes include trauma, arteriovenous fistulas. So this is the cause of clubbing seen in dialyzed patients. Next is vasculitis, or the 4th cause include it may be unilateral shoulder dislocations, or presence of unilateral lymphangitis, or aneurysms, especially of the subclavian or the palmar arch aneurysms. Then it is also seen in patients with hemiplegia, but the cause is unknown. Whereas when you see the rest of the causes from 1 to 6, there is some or the other way it is causing some vascular insult and endothelial damage, thereby increasing the P-selectin level. This P-selectin, which is a surface marker, it is a surface marker which causes platelet activation. So platelets are activated and platelet derived growth factor is produced, causing clubbing. So this is about the grades of clubbing and unilateral clubbing. Okay, now we'll look at a quick review of clubbing. So starting from the first thing is definition. It is just the bulbous enlargement of the distal part of fingers and toes due to fibrovascular proliferation. The second thing is the methods of clubbing. First, the interphalangeal depth ratio is outdated. The second one, which is the estimation of hyponychial angle, is the best one to differentiate a normal finger from a clubbed finger. The third one is the Shamroth sign, and it is the easiest to do practically, and the best finger to look for Shamroth sign is, remember, it is ring finger, not index. The third one is to look at the pathogenesis, and it involves the megakaryocytes. When the megakaryocytes bypass the pulmonary circulation, directly reach the distal capillaries, they release the platelet-derived growth factor, causing clubbing by excess tissue deposition. The second is the growth factors. Directly when they reach the distal capillaries, they produce excess connective tissue and clubbing. The third is the prostaglandin E2. By unknown causes, it is causing clubbing, and especially it is seen in hereditary cases. The prostaglandin E2 causing clubbing. Fourth heading we'll look at is the grades of clubbing. There are 4 grades. First is just periungual softening, second is increased angle, third is increased convexity, and fourth is hypertrophic osteoarthropathy, which is a painful condition. And then fifth heading is to look at unilateral clubbing. Remember, P-selectin, which is a surface marker for platelet activation, is increased when there is an endothelial damage. So anything that causes endothelial damage can cause unilateral clubbing. So these are some conditions. Okay, so that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. Let's meet again with another new topic. Till then, take care and be happy.